Welcome, friends. I'm Dana Bristol-Smith with Leap to Success, and I'm so happy that you're giving yourself a break today. So welcome to Self-Care in Stressful Times. This is episode 10 for us, kind of a milestone. I don't think we envisioned that 10 weeks ago we would be here with you doing this week after week. I'm just going to mute something here that was making noise. Okay. So it is unsettling times. It's new ground. It's new territory for all of us. Today's session is on releasing overwhelm, and this is part 2. Kelley, my co-host, started last week with part 1 of releasing overwhelm. Let me tell you a little bit about Leap to Success, and then I will introduce my co-host and Alyssa, who's providing technical support. Leap to Success is a women's empowerment organization, and we're based in Carlsbad, California. And our mission is to educate and empower women who are overcoming domestic violence, homelessness, and other major life challenges. Up until now, we've done all of our work face-to-face in the classroom since I started Leap to Success in 2008 with the very first program. We have quickly transitioned to making all of our offerings available online, including this self-care in stressful times. And what's exciting about this for us is that we are reaching about 10 times the number of people than we were seeing in the classroom, which with all of our efforts was probably about 100 people a month through our outreach and our classes. And now it's over 1,000. So we're really grateful that you are tuning into this. We're really grateful that you're sharing it with your friends and with your colleagues, and that you're taking this moment for yourself. So each of these 30-minute episodes includes a guided meditation and then a practical skill or tool to help you navigate this new territory and these unsettling times. So I'm glad you're here with us, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce my co-host, Kelley Grimes, to say hello. Here's Kelley.
Thank you, Dana. Welcome, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled that you are taking this moment out for yourself, that you're going to have a few moments to breathe deeply and to continue to learn more tools to negotiate and navigate this challenging time. So thanks for being here. And I look forward to taking you through a guided meditation in just a few moments.
Thank you, Kelley. And now I'm going to introduce Alyssa Jenkins. Alyssa's providing our technical support, and she'll tell you ways that you can be engaged and ways that you can find our past episodes. So here's Alyssa.
Hi, everyone. Super excited to be here on the call with you today. As Dana mentioned, this is episode number 10 for us, and we do have the replays available for the previous episodes that we've done. They are in a playlist on YouTube as well as in a little online library on our website. So I'll put those links in the chat for you if you would like to go back and rewatch some of our previous episodes. Also today, we're going to be having some interactive questions, which you can choose to reply to or not. But if you do choose to reply, we have 2 different options. When you send your message, you can either have it sent to all panelists, in which case just Dana and Kelley will be the ones to see it, or you can do all panelists and attendees, which will allow other people on this call to view your answers as well. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Alyssa. So let's all take a deep breath together and have the intention that we are going to release some overwhelm that we're carrying with us. So Kelley is going to walk us through a guided meditation. Here's Kelley.
So as always, I am going to invite us to start by just taking a deep breath in and allowing all of it just to be exhaled. I invite you to settle into where you're seated. Close your eyes or soften them down if that would be supportive to you. Sometimes it's nice not to have a lot of visual stimulation around us. And just give yourself permission for these few moments just to connect with you. Just to really come home to yourself. So I want to invite you to notice if you're feeling any overwhelm in this moment, any sense of stress and anxiety. And I want you to notice if you're feeling that overwhelm, where you're feeling it in your body. I want you to reflect for a moment and see if you can identify any thoughts you have connected to that sense of overwhelm. And I want to invite you just to bring some compassion and kindness to yourself in this moment about it. Just to breathe in. And as you breathe out, give yourself permission to release this overwhelm you're feeling in this moment. Allow yourself to breathe in a sense of spaciousness and to breathe out the stress and overwhelm. And now with that sense of spaciousness, I invite you to bring awareness to how it feels to actually fill up your lungs in an expanded way and how it feels to exhale. Following the breath all the way in and up and filled up, and allowing yourself to just release all that air within. And notice how it feels in between the in-breath and the out-breath. And now with this sense of spaciousness, I invite you to bring your awareness to your body. Notice if there's a difference in where you're holding any tension and tightness in this moment. And if you have any tension and tightness, invite that area to relax. Give those muscles permission to rest. That in this moment, all you have to do is just simply pay attention, to bring in curiosity and non-judgment to this moment. That is your only thing that you are invited to do in this time. Now see if you have any pain or discomfort in your body. And as you breathe, breathe some love, some tenderness, and some compassion to those areas if you find that there's any pain or discomfort. Just breathe a little bit more deeply into those spaces. And now notice if there's any place in your body that you don't have any sensation at all. And bring curiosity. I wonder why that is. I wonder why there is not a connection to that area. And on your next exhale, release awareness of your body and come back to your breath. Reminding yourself that your breath is a constant companion and friend, and that you can remind yourself in any moment that all is well and that you're okay by simply connecting with your breath. You can breathe in and invite in spaciousness in any moment. And as you exhale, you can intentionally release anything that's not serving you. Whether it's overwhelm or anxiety, or just a sense of unknown that you might be grappling with. You can just release that at any time with your out breath and breathe in a sense of calm, breathe in a sense that all is well, and breathe in a sense of spaciousness. And now I invite you to bring your awareness like a curious observer to your thoughts. Notice if there's any themes in your thinking in this moment. And if you can, you don't have to chase after them, but simply notice them, maybe name them. But observe in a way that gives you a sense of what's happening. What is the content of your thoughts? Because oftentimes our thoughts can continue to feed a sense of overwhelm that we have in our lives. And we can short circuit it by simply choosing different thoughts. And now I invite you to release awareness of your thoughts and come back to your breath. Breathing in 3 full body breaths in and out. Notice how luxurious it is to give yourself permission to pause and simply breathe. Now I invite you to place your hand on your heart. And so much of the time when we're in overwhelm, we have a really hard time acknowledging ourselves and acknowledging ourselves for what we've done. We look at our long to-do list rather than acknowledging how much we've done, how much we're showing up in these times with such courage, with such bravery, and with kindness and compassion. Every time you show up to one of these webinars, you are demonstrating kindness and compassion for yourself that allows you to take that back out into the world. So there's so many things that we can acknowledge ourselves about. And I invite you just to pause and acknowledge yourself in this moment. What are you grateful for about how you've been able to show up in these times? Breathe into that sense of gratitude, that sense of appreciation for yourself, and that acknowledgement that these are challenging times, that a normal response to a huge amount of unknown and responsibilities in our lives is overwhelm. And yet oftentimes that overwhelm can completely drain our sense of hopefulness, our sense of possibility, our creativity. And so we, with each breath, can choose to exhale that overwhelm and breathe in gratitude, breathe in peace, breathe in a sense of calm and a sense of groundedness in these times. Think about a word that would be really inspiring to you this week, that would help you to release overwhelm and stay in the present moment, that would allow you to feel grounded, strong, and resilient in these stressful times. And on our last few breaths together, I want you to breathe into that word and say that word in your mind, and then breathe that out and share that with everyone around you. So if your word is strength today, breathe in strength and breathe out strength and share that. Each moment that you spend being mindful and nurturing and caring for yourself ripples out into the world in so many beautiful ways. So breathe in that quality that you know will inspire hope in you over this next week. And then remember to breathe it out and share it with the world. When you're ready, I invite you to allow your eyes to float open and be present in the room with us again. And I thank you so much for taking this time out, for spending time nurturing yourself, and for inspiring hope in all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelley. That was beautiful. I think I started to float away a little bit there, and I hope that you all did as well. I looked over on the floor, and I'm not going to say his name out loud because that's going to wake him up, but my companion, my furry companion, is flat on the floor like this right now. So Kelley, you did a really good job of relaxing us all. So with that, we're going to transition to doing a little exercise in a really thoughtful way. If you have a paper and pen handy, please find that and have it nearby, because I'm going to ask you to write some things down. Okay, so let's get started. So as you know, and as you might feel, it can feel like we actually have very little control over events that are happening around us in our community and in our world. I'm going to just show you something that you probably know, since, you know, when we go outside now, we've got to wear these masks. So we are protecting ourselves and protecting others. And at the same time, that's one way that we can control things, but we actually have very little control over what's happening out in our communities. The interesting thing is that this has always been the case, but things felt more normal. We've never had control over things outside of ourselves, but because things are so different now, it can be very overwhelming. We are bombarded by news, and that creates fear. When we hear about events happening around the world, we hear about how the virus is spreading, we hear about how people are dying. It brings up fear and anxiety. We think about the future, we think about our own health, we think about those that we love, and we can't help but feel anxiety and fear, because as human beings, we feel empathy for others. So we are in a shifting normal, and we're walking around with a lot more stress than we are used to. What I want to help you do is take a look at the things in your life that you actually do have control over, because by doing that, we can feel more centered, and we can feel more calm, and we can feel less like a boat that's being tossed about in the sea in a storm. And we are in a storm right now. Another thing that we might be feeling is kind of mental paralysis. We don't know what choices to make. We don't know what to do. So we shut down and we don't make choices, and we kind of hunker in. That might be helpful in the short term, but definitely not in the long term. If you were with us a few episodes ago, it was actually episode 4, our topic was mindset shift. And in that episode, we did a really powerful exercise called Have to Choose To. And if you haven't seen that, go back and take a look at it, because what that does is it actually gives you a really good frame of reference to reframe how you think about daily choices. And actually everything that we do is a choice. And that enables us to feel more empowered. So I asked you to get a paper and pen, and I'd like to walk you through our overwhelm busting exercise. So please go ahead and think about the things in your life that you have control over, and start writing them down. And I'll give you an example. One of the things that I have control over is what I eat. So I can very mindfully eat things that are healthy and nutritious, or I could very unmindfully pay attention to when ice cream and chocolate chip cookies are calling my name, and I can mindlessly eat them over and over again, and especially when I'm feeling stressed. So take a few minutes and write down, what do you have control over in your life? These are the things that you get to decide and make choices about. And I'm going to go ahead and read a few of these without your names out loud, if you'll go ahead and write them in the chat area. So I'm going to take a look and see what we've got. Okay, Someone has said something that she's got control over is sleep. So yeah, we've got control over when we go to sleep. We've got control over when we wake up, whether we set an alarm or whether we don't set an alarm. Yeah, that's definitely something that we've got control over, but sometimes we don't realize it. Someone else says she's got control over meditation, and whether you take time daily for meditation, for prayer, absolutely something you have control over. Some other things that we have control over is how we interact with each other, the words that we say, how we communicate. We've got control over how we express ourselves creatively. That's another as well. Someone has mentioned she's got control over taking a break, going outside and walking. Someone else has said thoughts. Wow, that's powerful. Sometimes I don't have control over my thoughts, and I'm sure many of us do or not. Someone else has said not watching TV and allowing the news to influence her thoughts or well-being. Absolutely. Someone else says exercise. Another says choosing to wear the mask. Yep, absolutely. That's something that we have control over. Another person has said exercise. Yeah, all of these things. So write them down on your list, and it might include some of these items. Okay, now here's the next part of the exercise. What I'd like you to do now as you look at your list is I would like you to rate yourself as to how well you're paying attention to each of these areas in your life. And you're going to give yourself either a 0, a 1, or a 2 next to each item. Okay, 0 means that you're not paying any conscious attention to this area. 1 means that you're sometimes paying attention to this area. And 2 means that you're paying attention and that you're making thoughtful choices and decisions in this area. So I'll give you an example, and I'll do it around exercise. If I'm completely ignoring exercise, I give myself a 0. If I think about it and I do it sometimes, I'd give myself a 1. But if I have an established routine, like I get outside every morning at 9:30 and I go for a 30-minute walk, I'm paying thoughtful attention to it and I'm actually taking action. So I'd give myself a 2 in that area. So look at your list and go ahead and rate yourselves either a 0, a 1, or a 2. And the idea of this, for the areas that you see a 0 or a 1, it's not to get down on yourself and it's not to beat yourself up. What it is pointing out is that these are areas that you can pay more attention to. These are areas that you can make thoughtful choices about, and these are areas that by paying more attention, you'll actually give yourself a sense of more control in your life, and you'll feel more empowered, and you'll feel less likely to be tossed about like that boat in the middle of the ocean. And that's where we all are right now. So we need these practices and we need this kind of thoughtful awareness to help stabilize ourselves. And we can do that. So what I'd like to ask right now, if you'd be willing, is take a look at those areas or those items where you wrote a 0. And if you would be so bold and courageous, go ahead and write those into the chat area. If you're on Facebook, you can go ahead and write those into the comment areas. And even if you're watching on YouTube, you can do the same thing. But what are those areas that you are not yet paying attention to? And we'll see what comes up here. I know that sometimes it's really difficult when we're feeling emotion and when we're feeling stress to be thoughtful with the words that we speak. We are, many of us, sheltered at home right now. So we're seeing our family members, we're confined. That brings up stress, and sometimes it makes our communications really difficult, makes our tempers short. Okay, I'm seeing some items come up, and someone says thoughts are a daily struggle. Yeah, absolutely. Thoughts can just kind of run away on their own. Something that can be really helpful when we have thoughts that are distressing is just to notice the thought. And as Kelley took us through the meditation, notice the thought, acknowledge the thought. And by doing that, it can help to take some of the energy or even some of the emotion away from the thought. Someone else has said she's not paying attention to exercise right now. So that's a good awareness. Someone else has said meditation. Yeah, these are all areas that when we are trying to just do our very best to get through each day, it is difficult. It's difficult to pay attention to these things. Let's see what else comes up that people say. Someone else has mentioned long-term goals. Yeah, it's really hard to look long-term right now when we don't know what's going to be happening tomorrow, when we don't know what's going to be happening a month from now. It's really hard to think long-term. So thank you for sharing that. Someone else has said that being fully present without being on the internet a lot. Yeah, other things on the internet or texting someone. Yeah, it's we really need to be paying attention. And I think the idea of what is it that you're consuming right now, to think about it from that perspective. We consume food, we consume communications with others. What are we taking in? We might consume the daily news, and maybe a good idea around paying attention to that is giving us a specific time each day that we check in. And I've actually started doing this with the 5 o'clock news, and I record it so I can not listen to the commercials, but just really listen to the first 10 minutes of the news and know what's happening right here in my community. I don't right now want to be thinking more than that. I want to know what's happening right here, what can affect me right now. And then I'm also reading the paper at specific times, but I'm not letting it overtake me. It's too tough. It really is tough right now. So I think we all have to be conscious consumers. And I'm wondering if anyone else has anything else that they are not paying the kind of attention to that they would like to be, and that would allow them to be more in control. Okay. As you look at your list, this list of the items that you've rated with a 0 or a 1 can actually become your overwhelm busting action plan. So take a look at those items and then think about what you can do to be paying more attention to each of them. And that will be your action plan moving forward. And I'd love to hear from you about this. I'd love to hear about the actions that you're going to be taking moving forward so that you can be more in control and so that you'll be less overwhelmed. And if you'd like to email me, you can contact me at Dana, D-A-N-A, at leap2success.org. And I'll invite you to spend a little bit of time on our website. You'll learn more about Leap to Success. You'll learn more about our offerings, including every Thursday we're releasing a peaceful pause, which is a guided meditation with music, beautiful harp music from my friend Marcia Jen. So that comes out every Thursday. We've got lots of ways to keep you engaged, to keep you inspired, even in these difficult times. I've been thinking lately about everything that we do with Leap to Success. And for 12 years now, we have helped women who have overcome and who are overcoming adversity be able to move forward with confidence, being empowered, developing their leadership skills. And what I realized is that everything that we're teaching are tools for resilience. And that's what we all need right now, because we need to find that inner strength and that resilience. So I'm so glad that you're able to tune in and be with us. I want to thank you for being with us today, and also invite you to be engaged with us at Leap to Success on Facebook, again, our website and our YouTube channel, and share this content if it's helpful to you with your colleagues, with your friends, and with your family members. I want to thank Kelley for leading us with the guided meditation today, and Alyssa for her support. And friends, I look forward to seeing you next week again, next Tuesday at noon for self-care in stressful times. Have a great week.